I hadn't forgotten my plan of going to the auction. There was 3 weeks to go. I'd had 2 more trips to the continent, one to France and the other to Germany. It was when I was in Hamburg that things came to a crisis. For one thing, I took a violent dislike to the man and his wife I was driving. They represented everything I disliked most. They were rude, inconsiderate, unpleasant to look at, and I suppose they developed in me a feeling of being unable to stand this life of sycophancy any longer. I was careful, mind you. I thought I couldn't stand them another day, but I didn't tell them so. No good running yourself in bad with the firm that employs you. So I telephoned up their hotel, said I was ill, and I wired London saying the same thing. I said I might be in quarantine, and it would be advisable if they sent out a driver to replace me. Nobody could blame me for that. They wouldn't care enough about me to make further inquiries, and they'd merely think I was too feverish to send them any more news. Later I'd turn up in London again, spinning them a yarn of how ill I'd been. But I didn't think I should do that. I was fed up with the driving racket. That rebellion of mine was an important turning point in my life. Because of that, and of other things, I turned up at the auction rooms on the appointed date. Unless sold before by private treaty, had been pasted across the original board, but it was still there, so it hadn't been sold by private treaty. I was so excited, I hardly knew what I was doing. As I say, I'd never been to a public auction of property before. I was imbued with the idea that it would be exciting, but it wasn't, not in the least. It was one of the most moribund performances I've ever attended. It took place in a semi-gloomy atmosphere, and there were only about 6 or 7 people there. The auctioneer was quite different from those auctioneers that I'd seen presiding at furniture sales or things of that kind. Men with facetious voices and very hearty and full of jokes. This one, in a dead and alive voice, praised the property and described the acreage and a few things like that, and then he went half-heartedly into the bidding. Somebody made a bid of £5,000. The auctioneer gave a tired smile, rather as one who hears a joke that isn't really funny. He made a few remarks, and there were a few more bids. There were mostly country types standing around. Someone who looked like a farmer, someone who I guessed to be one of the competitive builders, a couple of lawyers, I think. One, a man who looked as though he was a stranger from London, well-dressed and professional-looking. I don't know if he made an actual bid. He may have done. If so, it was very quiet, and done more by gesture. Anyway, the bidding petered to an end. The auctioneer announced in a melancholy voice that the reserve price had not been reached, and the whole thing broke up. Well, that was a dull business, I said to one of the country-looking fellows, whom I was next to as I went out. Much the same as usual, he said. Been to many of these? No, I said. Actually, it's the first. Come out of curiosity, did you? I didn't notice you doing any bidding. No fear, I said. I just wanted to see how it would go. Well, it's the way it runs very often. They just want to see who's interested, you know. I looked at him inquiringly. Only 3 of them in it, I should say, said my friend. Weatherby from Elminster, he's the builder, you know. Then Dacomb and Coombe, bidding on behalf of some Liverpool firm, I understand. And a dark horse from London, too. I should say a lawyer. Of course, there may be more in it than that, but those seem the main ones to me. It'll go cheap. That's what everyone says. Because of the place's reputation, I asked. Oh, you've heard about Gypsy's Acre, have you? That's only what country people say. Rural Council ought to have altered that road years ago. It's a death trap. But the place has got a bad reputation. I tell you, that's just superstition. Anyway, as I say, the real business will happen now behind the scenes, you know. They'll go and make offers. I'd say the Liverpool people might get it. I don't think Weatherby will go high enough. He likes buying cheap. Plenty of properties coming into the market nowadays for development. After all, it's not many people who could afford to buy the place. Pull that ruined house down and put up another house there, could they? Doesn't seem to happen very often nowadays, I said. Too difficult. What with taxation and one thing and another. And you can't get domestic help in the country. No, people would rather pay thousands for a luxury flat in a town nowadays up on the 16th floor of a modern building. Big, unwieldy country houses are a drag on the market. But you could build a modern house, I argued. Labour saving.